is 6:08. The place is Central High School Auditorium, 1100 West Columbus Drive, East Chicago, Indiana, 46312. We are also via live stream on the school's website. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting school corporation business and is not to be considered a public committee meeting. Can we go ahead and begin with roll call?
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Present.
Trustee Smith?
Present.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Present.
Chairman Archiega?
Present. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, Joy. Turn this up.
The School City of East Chicago is committed to developing a community of lifelong learners who are empowered to access, process, and evaluate and ethically apply information in an ever-changing global society. Next on the agenda, we have our administrators' reports, and we will go ahead and begin with Dr. Bornay this evening.
Good evening. We hosted a successful back-to-school rally Saturday, August 3rd. Approximately 1,000 Cardinals came to Central High School. That represents an approximate number of 500 families. 850 backpacks were distributed to our students to prepare them for the 2024-2025 school year. We want to thank our family and community engagement team, our community engagement liaisons, and those volunteers who manned the registration tables in that heat. We want to thank our food service, K-12 by Elior, for providing lunch and refreshments for us, as well as all of our staff from our schools, and all of our schools are represented, our building level leaders who are distributing backpacks, as well as our security at Central High School, and our custodians from Central High School who set up and broke down the tables. All School City of East Chicago schools are open as of August 12th, yesterday. We had 2 first days of school. We want to acknowledge all the efforts of all of our staff across the entire district, but especially at our Harrison, McKinley, and Washington buildings, and everything that they did to make this effort possible. And we also want to acknowledge our partners, Amber and Pangier. So on Monday, we welcomed all of our students back. We welcomed 2,829 students, which gave us a student attendance percentage of 88.83%. And today, 2,910 students attended all of our schools, boosting our attendance for 91.58%. Our enrollment as of yesterday was 3,161, and as we approach the September month, September is Attendance Awareness Month, and SCEC will be planning activities and efforts around making regular attendance a habit for all of our students, and we will heavily rely on the support of our families and our community. That concludes my report, President Archiega.
Thank you. Next, we have a report from our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Simmons.
Good evening. I'm going to update on a couple things that's going on through the district as maintenance-wise. We are, once the approval of the VW grant comes through, we will start bidding for 4 electric buses. We also has a small delay on some of the HVAC equipment in the schools, but most of the schools are at full capacity of the chillers working, heat working and all. And we only have a delay till September. By the mid-October, all our HVAC will be totally completed. We also have extra funding that we are going to do some small project on Central High School's HVAC unit. which would give total air to the top level of the third floor. The Form 9 was completed. It shall be available probably in 90 days once the state of Indiana reviews it. ECA risk assessment is actually due on August 31st, and we're in the process of completing that and the AFR for Gateway. The AFR for Gateway will be a part of a public finance meeting. We're also in the process of finalizing the dates for 2025's budget. The budget has to be approved by October the 15th. We're in the final stage of approving the dates. That's all I have.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have our board reports. We will start off with our finance committee first.
Oh, yes, we did have a meeting July 29, 2024. Myself, my colleague Joel Rodriguez and Dr. Bonet, as well as Leila Simmons, and we discussed the ESSER dollars, which ESSER $3 will be exhausted in December of 2024. And we discussed the audit findings, some of them that we did correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have an update from the policy committee.
Mr. President, there is no report. Dr. Bournet and I are talking about the possibility of going back to Neola. So until that decision's been made, there will be no policy committee meetings.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of this evening's agenda? All right, seeing and hearing none, I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Is there any comments from the audience for the approval of this evening's agenda? All right. I do want to make a motion to approve the agenda, but there was one thing that was added in well, let me do the first one first. So I want to make a motion to approve the agenda, but I want to remove 6.16. That is the approval of the labor law attorney. And the reason I want to do that is because Attorney Harris was out last week, and I would have liked him to have a little bit more time just to review that contract, and then to also talk to our labor attorney candidate and just get everything finalized for that contract. So that's the first part of my motion, and the second part of my motion is the trustees have it up here, but it's a contract for professional services for the speech-language pathologist for the school city of East Chicago. And Dr. Bournet, can you kind of share with us this one?
So this is a contract or agreement for contractual services for our speech-language pathologists. As we are aware, or may not be aware, we do not full-time employ speech-language pathologists, so we contract them out. There is another speech-language pathologist on the agenda as well, and so we are trying to make sure all of these staff members are in place so they can deliver the service for our students.
All right, thank you. So again, just to kind of reiterate, I make a motion to approve this evening's agenda with taking off the approval of labor attorney and replacing this contract for professional services to go in at 6.16.
Second.
Is there any discussion at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right. Next on our agenda is the consent agenda. Is there any comments from the audience on this evening's consent agenda? Seeing and hearing none. Okay.
Is it just this? Okay, it's connected. I had a question in regards to page 6, check 11592.
He said that that person was okay on there, right? That's the one I was talking about.
Is this the claim docket?
What
Or,
did she say now?
Correct.
okay,
What did she say?
page. One more time?
It's on page 6, 11592. I'm sorry, 115992.
What's the page?
6,
Oh, page 6, okay.
page 6.
All right, you can go ahead.
So my question to you is why this actually is being paid for. Previously, as I was a board member, we eliminated individuals coming to take professional pictures because we had students with the actual materials, and we wanted to make sure to give them an opportunity to end up having a professional picture done by them, the editing done by them. So the reason why we end up, and I understand it now, you have to pay this individual, but I bring it to your attention so we cannot go back to the old before I was on the school board, because this has not happened for about 7 years. So I ask that you use the students, give that money back to the photography, that program, because they do an amazing job at what they do. The next item I have, and I don't know the page number, I'm sorry, but it's 116071. Just wanted to know what that was for. Again,
1167, what, Vanessa?
116071. It says drone photography. I just wanted to know what that was for.
Yes, that was for a vendor to do drone photography or drone videos at our back-to-school pep rally.
Okay, again, just a suggestion. Let's let the students do that. I think they do have the equipment, if I recall correctly. Another page 14, check 4153DD. That says reimbursement.
Page 14?
I don't
Correct.
see nothing on here for reimbursement.
I don't see a direct deposit on there. Do you have the name of the vendor?
I do, but I can't mention his name because he's a trustee.
The number again? Or
Check 4153, DD.
And it's on page 14?
Sorry, 13, thank you.
Oh, 13, okay.
Four 41552 DD?
On here, it says
4153
4153DD.
That was reimbursement for refreshments for
Thank you.
first meeting.
For our first meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Is there any other comments at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion at this time?
Yes. The resident, Ms. Hernandez Orange, mentioned page 6, that 115992. I have no problems with that. I do agree with what she's saying, But my thing is, it says here, board photography agreement. I don't remember us doing a contract. Did we do an actual contract for this? When was it established? And everybody else has to have a contract, so I feel that before this is paid out, a contract should have been written up, and we should have been forewarned that we have to pay for this. So that's money that we're just giving away, as she said, and our students could have done this. And I see everybody else have a problem when they present a contract as an individual a consultant. And on this, I'm really not happy with, because there was no written contract saying that this person was going to do this. So I have a problem with that one. On page 16, 116073, it says lawn care. Now, was this lawn care done for all the schools in the district or one school? Because I can't see this price being for the whole district, lawn care for the whole district. I cannot see that that price is so low that the whole entire district lawn care was taken care of for that little amount of money.
What's the number you say, Diane? What was the number?
I said 116073, page 16.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with lawn care. I just want to know, where was this lawn care? What school was it at? Or was it the whole district? I need some answers.
Yeah, go. Ms. Simmons?
This was the removal of some debris in schoolyard.
Okay, thank you. Well, it should be stated that as opposed to lawn care. That's all I have to say.
Is there any other discussion at this time? All right, seeing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. All right, next we go into new business. The first one we have is 6.01, approval of teacher appreciation grant policy.
Good evening again, President Artiga, the school board. So this is a regular policy that must be brought to the board every year for our teacher appreciation grant. And this is allows us to have a first and second reading before it is submitted on September 15th. Teacher appreciation grants are a way that we provide incentive and recognize our staff, our teaching staff in particular, who are scored or rated effective or highly effective.
All right, thank you. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.01? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and motion for the approval of the teacher appreciation grant policy.
Second.
I made a motion, second by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we'll go ahead with your voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the 6.02, the approval of Volkswagen diesel emissions environment project funding agreement.
Ms. Simmons?
Yes, this was the grant that we were awarded $221,000 to get electric buses here in the district. So that is what I was mentioning earlier. We will start going out for bid for electric buses. And this is also covering the equipment that will be placed in the bus barn to charge the electric buses.
Thank you. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.02? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and motion for the approval of 6.02.
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd just like to make sure that this grant is completed and we will not have to return any monies. So please, let's get on this and not procrastinate with this because we're not sending any more money and we're not losing any more grants. Not this year. So let's be up on this and make sure that we follow through and get the money that they want to give us for our schools. Thank you.
Is there any other discussion at this time? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of renewal of Goal Book Toolkit and progress monitoring.
I'm going to have our special ed coordinators come up and speak to this agenda item and I believe the next three.
Thank you, Superintendent. Goalbook is a tool that is used by all of the special education teachers in the district. It allows them to progress monitor. They're able to utilize current data for a student. They're able to then select a goal that will help that student when they're having a deficit. It helps with assessments. It also allows them to create interventions. So it's a very functional tool. It is a renewal. We started using it last year, and it's only expanded.
Thank you. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.03? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.03.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Gomez, second by trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.04, the approval of the renewal MOU for Epic Education. This is for a speech contract. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of this MOU renewal? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and motion for the approval of this MOU renewal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of 6.05, the approval of renewal MOU for readable English intervention. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.05? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and motion for the approval of this renewal. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of MOU with Teens in Action Dream Obtainer. You? Okay. Can you go ahead and just give us a little bit of an overview on this one?
Certainly. Teens in Action is a program in which therapists will come into our buildings and they will work with our students, of course with permission, on drug abuse. This is an agency that is located, it is local to East Chicago. We have seen a significant number of vaping problems in our schools, not only in our high school and middle school, but also in our elementary buildings. Children are coming in, they're using drugs, and they really do not understand the severity of that type of issue and what it's causing to their bodies. And we know that this program is one that is run by local people, and we think that it will really have an impact on our students.
Thank you. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.06? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of 6.06.
Mr. President, make a motion.
Motion made by
Second.
trustee Rodriguez, second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we had the approval of the usage of Central High School football field, parking lot, and concessions. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.07? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion for this. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I'd just like to thank Dr. Bournet for moving on this. The class president contacted me somewhat with short notice, but I forwarded it on to Dr. Bournet, and he was gracious enough to approve this in time so that that class can get information out to their all the classmates and have a good event. So thanks again, Dr. Bournet.
Thank you.
I do ask that we also share this on our Facebook pages. I forgot what year the class was. It was mid-2000?
2014.
2014. Yeah, so if we can go ahead and share that with them on our social media sites, that way we can get the word out. Any other discussion at this time?
Mr. President, just in addition to that, I'm glad you brought up the Facebook post. Mr. Brown is always willing to help out our school. He's now, oh God, he's in Maryland or DC, I can't remember right now, but he's doing some fantastic work out there. And he's going to be in touch with Dr. Bournet to come speak to our kids as well.
Is there any other discussion at this point? I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.08, the approval of Junior Achievement MOU. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.08? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and make a motion for the approval of 6.08.
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
I'd just like to say I'm really glad to see this on the agenda, junior achievement. And it's something that's been in districts for years, and I'm glad to see it come back. And let's support it.
Thank you. We can go ahead with the voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.09, the approval of the MOU with Sylvan Learning Services for St. Stanislaus. Do we have, is there anybody in the audience that has any comments on the approval of 6.09? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.09.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Smith, second made by trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.10, the approval of the MOU with Northwestern Indiana Food Council. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of the MOU with the Northwest Indiana Food Council? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion for this approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, we will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.11, the approval of MOU with Mental Health America of Northwest Indiana, Ready to Soar program. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.11? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.11.
Make a motion.
Motion made by trustee Rodriguez,
Second.
second made by trustee Smith. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.12, the approval of the MOU with HealthLink. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.12? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve 6.12.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Rodriguez, second made by Trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have 6.13, the approval of the MOU with the superintendent's performance goals. So just to provide a little bit of background for this one, about 2 weeks after Dr. Bournet started here, we met in an executive board retreat, and we dedicated the afternoon to really solidifying what our goals for the superintendent are. And these are the goals that we basically landed on, and these goals went straight to basically what was in our job application for the job, or for the superintendent position. So it goes back to enrollment, it goes back to increasing our graduation rate, it's looking at how our teachers are being retained, and also the development of a community engagement policy, community engagement plan. So with that being said, is there any comments from the audience on the superintendent's performance goals?
Mr. President,
Yes.
just one thing to add. The superintendent goals are incorporated by reference into his contract, so this will be posted on the website along with the agreement,
All right.
just so the public's aware.
Perfect, thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve the superintendent's performance goals.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Gomez, second made by Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Next, we have the approval of a new position, the Coordinator of Communication and Public Relations. Did you want to talk briefly about this one? Thank you.
Good evening again. The Coordinator of Communications and Public Relations is a coordinator-level position, and it has primarily 3 facets to its job. One, it is supposed to be responsible for how the district is marketed or branded, meaning it works very closely with our Human Resources Department, our Athletics Department, as well as our Family and Community Engagement. That person's role also is important for driving our student enrollment. It is a model where they are actively devising strategies that's going to increase and attract students to School City of East Chicago. And then they will be responsible for our social media presence and as part of the branding of the school district.
All right, thank you. Is there any comments from the audience on 6.14?
Hello, I have a couple of comments in regards to this position. First and foremost, I get the reason we have to have students come into our district. I understand that. But my concern is, one, you have individuals who do these positions anyways. For instance, creating and publishing a newsletter, your parent liaisons, that's in their job description. Video messaging, students could do that. Manage district and school website. He's doing it right now as we speak online. Thanks. Manage district, where is there a PR budget by chance? And I say this as a resident because now we're going to expend money for another position. I don't know if we're going to take away those monies that they get. So then now, as a resident, you're telling me I'm going to pay a coordinator position now. So when you ask for money for a referendum, it's going to be top-heavy once again. The other thing is the photography services. Again, we have students who already do that. Then we're going to have contractors once again come in. And unfortunately, in this district, we make up jobs for our friends. and I hope this is not what this is. I do know that we need to brand correctly and be social media presence. We have an individual who does an amazing job on social media, and is on every aspect of the word. Now, we're telling them, you guys are not doing your job, it's not good enough. Maybe we should pay them what they actually deserve, make them full-time, give them that money, because that would probably be the best shot and you probably would save. Just a thought, to look into this a bit more. Also, have you guys researched to see how many other school districts actually have a PR budget? And if you have researched, how many actual coordinator, communication people are in the state of Indiana?
Is there any other comments from the audience at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and make a motion for the approval of the coordinator position for communications and public relations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second made by trustee Gomez. Is there any discussion at this time? Seeing and hearing none, I will go ahead and call for a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion
Abstain.
passes.
Abstain.
Vote's over. Next, we have 6.15, the approval of the MOU with SuperSite LLC 2024-2025. Is there any comments from the audience on the approval of 6.15? Seeing and hearing none, I'm looking for a motion for the approval of the MOU with SuperSite LLC.
Mr. President, I move for approval.
Motion made by trustee Gomez. Second made by trustee Rodriguez. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Yes.
can I get some clarity with the superintendent regarding this contract?
Yes. So this is another contractual service with our speech-language pathologists. Previously, we had one on the agenda for EPIC. EPIC specifically is our speech-language pathologist for our pre-K program. This one, this speech-language pathologist services other students elementary.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other comments or discussion?
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just, this one is also a renewal.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to make the comment. We've approved this contract many, many years in a row. So this will be a continuation of the same contract.
With no other discussion, we will go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And next, we have 6.16, the approval of the contract for professional services for speech-language pathologists for the school city of East Chicago. Is there any comments from the audience on approving 6.16? Seeing and hearing none, I'll go ahead and make a motion for the approval of this contract. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Is there any discussion at this time?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I believe this is also renewal of the same contract.
Yes. Thank you. Is there any other discussion at this time? All right, seeing and hearing none, we'll go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
point of order. On the agenda, I just noted that the public comment is missing. So can we insert that in front of the trustees' remarks, please?
Sure. All right, at this time, we will open it up for public forum.
When you step to the podium, if you could please state your name. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful of the other members of the audience, the board, and the staff, and please refrain from discussing any personnel matters. Thank you.
Vanessa Hernandez Orange.
Who's missing the public comment? We gotta have public comment.
This quickly.
Vanessa Hernandez, Orange, 1620 Senator Drive, and I want to make this quick. So this is a job description of a school board member. It's responsible and effective governance. First, fundamental understanding of governance, it is not administration. I repeat, fundamental understanding that governance is not administration. This is clear delineation between the two roles. School boards are responsible for setting policy, program oversight, superintendent's evaluation, approving the budget, approving recommendations made by the superintendent, establishing appropriate and safe facilities, acting as liaisons to the community, which means you should not be harassing anybody who works for you, for the school district. You should not have to go into school buildings and ask for or demand for answers. You should not demand for individuals to be placed in certain areas. Give the superintendent a chance, because all you hear in the community is a certain school board member or two are asking the superintendent to do moves, and they're going into buildings, asking questions. They're taking the time out of education for students, as well as taking the time out of the work for the individuals in the school, in the administration building. Give the superintendent a chance with this community by not giving him a bad name to start. If you're demanding things of the superintendent, making changes, then immediately it's a bad name. Stay out the school during the school day, basically is what I'm telling you. You can also go back on the ISBA website, it's on there. Next, a board stipend should not exceed $5,000. For instance, if I'm purchasing a ticket to a program, if I'm buying a book, if I am going out of town and I am trying to purchase an item on the school board credit card, you're not supposed to do that, and you're not supposed to get reimbursed back for it. So if I go to an event and I pay for the ticket, you can't receive a reimbursement. That's you having to pay for it. When you do that, that's exceeding that amount that you're supposed to. All you gotta do is ask State Board of Accounts, because I did. We also got audited a couple years ago about school board members doing that, just FYI. Previously, about 3 days ago, I noticed that there was multiple new job descriptions. And that scares me, because this is a scare tactic that has been used in this school district. Dr. Bornay, I implored to you to lift your staff up. They're amazing individuals.
3 minutes is up.
They go through this annually, and unfortunately, this is what's happening again.
D. Murphy.
Good afternoon, Mr. Murphy, 13436 Hoosier Hill Drive, Carmel, Indiana. Do we want a band program? Do we want an instrumental music program in EC? That's a question that I'm still trying to figure out after 7 years of being with the district. I try not to say things too often, but the spirit, when it hits me, I have to say something, because it's our students that are hurting. Students are taken out of band. There's no consistency. Every year, I'm starting from scratch. What you see is a put together of long hours, hard work, starting from scratch every single year. That's why we don't have a marching band. We are a concert band, which is what gets the scholarship money that periodically plays marching band music. But in order to have a marching band, you have to have a drum line, and we haven't had one since 2019. They get to their senior year and they're taken out. Out of 7 years, I've only had 2 students that have made it to their senior year being in band. And those are the students that will get college scholarships when these guys call me. They'll have it at block, and then when they get here, they're placed in other programs to make them look good. Students can be afforded scholarships which can be combined with institutional scholarships, which will take them over what they need in order to pay for school, which will come back to them as a refund check, which will help in other areas. They can take advanced classes and be admitted to big-name schools, which is what I think a lot of people want when they're putting AP this, that, and the other, but you have to have the money to back it up. If you get that band scholarship, again, you can combine those two, and that'll take you over, but you have to be in band in order to get that. Without the arts, students miss out on an opportunity to receive a well-rounded experience that will help to prepare them for the real world, i.e. interpersonal relationship skills, which our students are lacking. They have several opportunities to learn different instruments, but only if they're allowed to stay in the program and not pulled out. More instruments that are learned equals more scholarship money. I have this year 22 students who were removed from the program. 22. Not the 16 that was reported to that we only have in the band. We are well past 16. Those are the 16 students that met the requirements to get their credits for this summer. I have to go around and track students down to get them back in the band that have been removed. I've got more miles on my feet these past 3 or 4 days than I have the entire last school year. I don't think any other teacher has to do that. Over the past 7 years, minus the pandemic years, 4 students have gotten scholarships ranging from the armed forces to HBCU programs. A wide range of students I teach a wide range of students from 7 to 12 each day. Arts is an area that draws interest, which could potentially be a magnet for the district. We want to bring students in. What are they coming here for if they have nothing to look forward to?
Mr. Murphy, your 3 minutes are up.
Okay, I'm going to end with this. There's a recording artist, Lola Brooke. Don't play with it, don't play with it. Come on, EC, don't play with it. Our students deserve the best. Thank you.
Diane Darden.
Diana Darden, 7415 William Street, Maryville, Indiana. I hope I can get a little bit more than 3 minutes with this being a give back. But I want to also ask too, for further alumni events, if we could also get the same consideration to put our things on the website as well. As I stated, I stated via Ms. Wright at a couple meetings ago, because I had to work. I had wanted to say thank you, but I also said I was going to come in person, because just as I asked you in person, I want to say thank you in person. I know I said it in the mini theater, but that weekend was beyond and above anything anybody could imagine. That reunion weekend was talked about not just in East Chicago. People in Gary, Maryville, the Northwest Indiana has been sharing. Our Cypher video went 5,000 views, and we raised a lot of money that we are looking so much forward to coming and collaborating with School City to give back to not only Central, but to the whole school district. It incited a spirit in all the alumni. They are so excited to give back monetarily, coming back, mentoring, coming back in different avenues in their professional fields or whatever they can do. And I think and I hope that you guys continue to support us and support everything that we do, because it do make a difference, you know. We want them to take the baton later on, like I always say, and continue to pour back into where they came from. So I just want to say thank you again. I believe that our Academy Awards was top tier. I want to appreciate it was top tier. Our red carpet was top tier. I want to say a special thank you to Dr. Bornay, President Artiega, Ms. Leela, Ms. Diane, because I got to watch the meeting on there for you to speak on it, and because I was looking at you, Mr. Artiega at the bottom, and he was just smiling when we were singing the school song. I mean, it was just crazy. The spirit was wild, and if you didn't recognize that or didn't appreciate that, I'm disappointed, because we had a weekend of no incident every day. And I want to say in that parking lot, Miss Patty Jo can tell you, it was probably about 300 alumni out there partying, having a good time, no problems, and we hope to come back to do that again because this is the ground that Washington and Roosevelt came together and created a cardinal. So we will continue to give back, and I am so excited to come back once we get some things straight. We have some celebrities that didn't go to Central. We have people from different districts and different cities that want to collaborate to pour into this auditorium, that want to pour into this school district just off that weekend. So I can't wait to come back to announce that to you guys and to meet with everybody on the board to let you know that weekend set it off. And again, I appreciate y'all for believing in me and believing in the alumni for everything that we do, and we are going to continue to give back every which way we can. Don't hesitate to ask. I believe everybody is on the alumni page. If you're not, please get on it. It is so much helpful information on there. We got somebody just recently that just became on the advisory council for Harvard University, Eddie Turner. I mean, we got some great things. Miguel Torres is getting honored in Florida. I mean, I can go on and on. So we have a lot to be proud about in East Chicago. And I just want to again just say thank you. Thank you.
That's it for our public forum.
We will go ahead with trustee remarks, and we'll begin with trustee Rodriguez.
I just want to say thank you to all the teachers, the faculties, the staff members, the administrators, as well as our superintendent for a yeoman's job in overcoming the obstacles and getting these schools prepared. We know the HVAC system was an issue, but that we overcame those issues. And I want to say thank you to all who participated in getting their classes on Saturdays and Sundays and getting it prepared for our kids. I also like to say I want to thank the students as well. Looking at most of the Facebooks, I noticed that they were all prepared, eager to come into schools dressed up, families dropping them off, elementary schools. So I also want to thank the students as well for really showing the first day yeoman's job and preparing themselves to really have that first day in school. So with that, that's the end of my comment.
Trustee Smith.
I'd just like to say thank you to all the parents, students, community, teachers, administration, transportation, for assisting in our first day back to school. I know that we had some glitches, but with the team that got together to make it happen, I appreciate it. It was hard work. I appreciate all the things that the principals and the teachers did coming in on a weekend to make this happen. I'm so sorry that it happened. It did, but thanks to Dr. Barnier and his administrative staff, they came together and as a group and tried to make this thing happen, which they did. And I just want to say, and back to school, it was really successful. I enjoyed ringing the bell at Lincoln, and I'm very, very proud of Lincoln. I'm proud of all my schools, really. But Lincoln, they really came out. And what impressed me so with Lincoln, I had never seen so many fathers. And I'm not saying this just to be, I'm not prejudiced anything, but I was so proud to see so many African-American men bring their sons and daughters to school that day. That meant a lot to me, because society always say that we don't care, our black men don't care. And it was different nationalities, but most of them were fathers. There was the Hispanics, all of them, the fathers came. No mothers, it was a lot of fathers. A lot, am I right? A lot of fathers. So that warmed my heart, because they always say young people don't care about their children. They do. And they committed themselves to help make Lincoln a good school and to strive and raise their I-STEP and I-LEARN scores. They committed themselves to coming to meetings and doing whatever they have to do. So if we can do that at Lincoln, we can do it at all schools. I just want to say thank the board. was trying, but Dr. Bonet, thank you. That's it.
Trustee Gibson King.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank our parents, our teachers, our children, the audience, those of you that watch us as our school boards are viewed. We've had a very exciting 3 weeks, I'm going to say. We started going back to school 3 weeks ago. We were in the schools making sure that things were together with the HVAC systems, not one time, but we were there 3 times. Also with our superintendent, Dr. Bonet. But I want to give my colleagues a big hand because we were really, as a team, getting out, making sure that things were done. Some of us had to work, but some of us took the time off work to come. If you view some of our pictures that are on Facebook, we put on Facebook to see the things that we were doing as a team. As Diane said, she got out and she planted flowers at her school. Some things that we know that needs to happen other than us as a board. We do take a step and beyond the things that we do. So I want to give all of us, even you all out there in the audience, a welcome back to this first day of school. Thank you.
Trustee Gomez.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of things to go around. I wanted to include in that group the crossing guards. They're not our employees. They're not our employees, but yeah, they're not our employees, but they work in helping us get our kids to school safely. I know that's a tough job, dangerous job for them, but they handle it with such grace and with so much fun. It's nice to see the enjoyment on their faces as they greet the kids and cross them safely to school. I also want to give thanks to WJLB for hosting Dr. Bournet, introducing him to the community, to D'Angelo Coles for also doing a radio program with Dr. Bournet, and Miss Eve Gomez, who also hosted Dr. Bournet. And I really thank Dr. Bournet for making himself available to be out there and make himself present in our community as he has. Trustee Smith mentioned Black fathers, and I got to say that I was really proud to see again D'Angelo Coles and his group invite Dr. Bournet over to watch the young men in the Distinguished Gentleman Workshop that they hosted, and I hope that they continue with that program. And both Trustee Smith and Trustee Gibson King mentioned the teamwork that was evident on not just on the board, but also at the back to school rally and the ringing of the bell. Really connected us right back to the community. So again, thanks Dr. Bournet for that great idea of the bell ringing. Finally, I wanted to wish my colleague, Ms. Patty Jo Gibson King, a happy birthday. 29 years old now.
Yes,
So
yes,
she
I'll
made
go
it to
with that
29,
number.
and happy birthday.
Thank you.
That concludes my remarks.
Last week I was a real nervous wreck. I was as a teacher, we always try to get into our buildings over the summer. I know I got in my building over the summer, and as we were going through the buildings, some of them looked good, some of them looked in rough shape. It gave me a lot of anxiety, but all that anxiety kind of went out the window on Monday when I was able to visit these schools, especially those, Harrison, McKinley, and Washington, because all the worrying I was doing, there was literally nobody else worrying. The principals had smiles ready to go. The teachers had smiles ready to go. The whole Dr. Bournet and the whole administrative team, they did a very good job. And what I thought, personally for myself, was just a very hectic time, trying to get the news out about, unfortunately, putting some of those schools back. Lastly, I share with my colleagues a lot of things, and I want to specifically talk about the custodial staff. The custodial staff was asked to work mandatory double shifts to get the buildings back on track, to clean up the buildings, to make them nice and clean for our students, to make sure that we moved all the access materials from outside the hallway. So I want to say thank you to those that entered their mandatory shifts, and I hope that you will be a role model. I hope you will be a role model for the other custodial staff that did not pitch in and help in this effort. The date and time of our next meeting is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2024, at Block Middle School. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second. We'll go ahead with a voice vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you. Good night.